So you thought this would be about railways and nothing else. Well, it's more than just railways at Dennis and Marjorie's house. Not a train in sight.
The station Pluckhurst is in the Victorian Gothic style. Its doors, windows, all pointing upwards in a churchy style. Now we turn our thoughts towards Newton. A large city, an ancient factory, makes artificial smoke at times from its chimneys. Of modern times, contemporary times, the dual carriageway, beyond it, an ethnic market. Now our thoughts turn towards Havenport, the sort of town found each side of the North Sea. There are Flemish gables, drainage canals with windmills, and a cathedral. The station is from my grandmother's house, which had a prep school in it. The windmill was restored by Martin Moss and is typical of the Fen country. Trains will gather at this junction and have connections with one another. We move along the flat and watery landscape to Holland Fen, a fishing port, and where young ladies are exercising their horses. So we move into a different landscape in the Scottish style. On the moors a shepherd with his flock, deer on the moorlands, and below the school practising at football or cricket according to season, and with a traffic warden. The station was made with the help of the late Dean of Chichester's nephew. This is a beauty spot, Glenarder, with desirable houses and pretty surroundings. The viaduct goes back to childhood days, when my grandmother would take me to Scotland on the overnight sleeper, waking up at dawn where the farmer would wave to the train as it passed on the viaduct. Now our thoughts move towards a seaside resort. First the bandstand. This was nearly blown up in the bombing of Broadstairs. We see a row of boarding houses and Palm Court Hotel in the foreground. Plenty of healthy open-air activity, a swimming pool, and in the background the Strathallan Hotel. The lighthouse goes back to the time when it had a candle inside, and on top there were vanes, so that the heat rising from the candle revolved the light part at the top.
Southwest Trains, stagecoach steam service. This train is from Elmley, calling at Glenharder, Holland Fen on the Crest, Havenport, Clackhurst, Newton. Change at Newton for the London service and change at Havenport for Grenfell and upward lines.
The engine is an Atlantic. They were first built at the end of Queen Victoria's reign, and for many years handled many of the long-distance trains out to King's Cross, and were often lettered LNER. At first thought, you might think this is lettered LNER, but what came the Southern Railway also had the designs and built quite a number, which lasted until almost the end of steam. They ran on the line mainly from London to Eastbourne and on to Hastings, usually with a Pullman car, one Pullman car and a dark green train. The model was made about 1950, rather amateurly, with cornflake packets and things like that. It was that later damaged and got into bad condition, and recently, towards the end of 2003, work began on restoring it. The following train is hauled by a King Arthur engine. These represented the Southern very, very much, with a major engine through Salisbury for many years. It had to have a bogie tender for the long-distance trains into Devon from London, and this we had to make ourselves, with bogies from an old carriage, and the tender, this time, not made from cornflake packages, but plastic margarine tops, which is one step forward.